Right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching us across the states in Nigeria. Yes, and today's topic, gosh, let me start by saying that governance and transitioning in our country is a problematic, should I emphasize on that word, problematic issues because of the need for continuity and progression of good works in the state. However, in a case where controversies or controversial policies are quick to, will I say, unturn or unaccountable decisions, is one of the issues that we have in our country in terms of continuity. Again, I say, don't let me let out all the bags, all the cats in the bags. Let me say excellent afternoon to all those who are watching us again. And of course, I have one of the real talker on the platform. But should I start with one of my colleagues? I should also use senior colleague. Let me put it out there. One of our colleagues, Shomomo, many thanks for doing this with you. You guys will understand why he's on the platform today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Always a pleasure to be on the show with you. I watch you most times from behind the scenes.
I know.
Great job you guys are doing here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this.
Of course, blessed is he amongst women. You're sitting with
women. But he's not in the middle of the women now.
We didn't want to smoke you. For everyone who is watching us today, I say very good afternoon. I hope it's been easy. I know that we've been having fuel crisis in Lagos and other parts of the country, but notwithstanding, if there is life, there is hope. Let us join the race. Let us get our PVCs. And of course, pay attention to our credible, candidates for 2023 elections. Let us put our ears on ground.
All right, many thanks for all that. Exactly 2 years ago, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 led the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, of course, that is Boss Mustafa, regularly warned of the possibility of another COVID-19 lockdown. And it's unfortunate that, I like the fact that on this initial segment reminds us of something that we take for granted. Let's get more juice on the story in history. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Exactly 2 years ago, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, regularly warns of the possibility of another lockdown because of the general carefree attitude of Nigerians to the core protocols required to contain the pandemic. This call for caution was also emphasized by the Lagos State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Aki Abayomi. Abayomi, a frontline leader of the fight against the pandemic, warned in a statement. The continuous flagrant disregard of safety guidelines by citizens heralds danger and may lead to a second wave of the infection in Lagos, adding that a resurgence of cases in Lagos may lead to the reversal of the strategically calculated measures.
All right. Many thanks for staying with us. Damnola, let me come to you. What's your take on this day in history segment?
And I think it just reminded us, of course, like you said during your intro, that what happened 2 years ago, the coronavirus lockdown. It felt as though this world was coming to an end initially. Something that had never happened to us. We've never been on a lockdown, total shutdown, except for essential workers. And it also shows me that, however, it's been a tradition for Nigerians generally to have this nonchalant, lackadaisical attitude when things come to play. But do I blame Nigerians here? The answer for me is no, because our politicians also, they project this usually. If it's not something that is life-taking, that is life-threatening, that they know that it will affect from their domestic staffs and it will come to them, there wouldn't be a swift response or a swift answer to some of our problems. But really, I think it's been handed down over from time immemorial that everybody, life has to go on. And so history is reminding us again.
Bro.
Yeah.
What's your take on this?
I think it's a good one that if you reflect back, it was like actually life ended. Well, we started a new life because, but I think more than that, we've left off the guard, and a lot of us are living as if we didn't have that history. And we don't care about our environment, we don't care about our hygiene and all that. And there's been this warning that coronavirus is still with us. We can see what is going on in China. So I think it's a good time for Nigerians to go back to some precautions we used to take. Somebody said, I've not taken those vaccinations. I said, but if you are traveling, you must do it. So why don't you just do it now? Because you can't leave Nigeria without doing it, for goodness sake. So maybe a good time for us to start thinking again that we must maintain hygiene.
Yeah, many thanks for your submission right there. For me, yes, I like the fact that, the carefree attitude of Nigerians was emphasized, knowing that that is the kind of person we are. But I like the fact that, culture is something that I feel that we all need to unlearn. There are certain things that we exhibit today that subconsciously we don't know that it has been, passed on to us because of all this nonchalant attitude that we exhibit and all of that. And I also feel that, at the moment, I like the fact that, yes, the history is reminding us of what transpired 2 years ago, but I think that it has shaped a lot of ways in which we do things today. And of course, when it comes to how it has impacted the economy, we cannot, some organizations today have not even, been able to get out of that.
Some may never even recover.
Exactly. So, yes, some countries are still just picking up and the likes and all of that. But in Nigeria, we have this resilient attitude or behavior that, everything just keeps going on. Okay, yes, next, and the likes and all of that. But I think the message that has been emphasized today in history is the fact that we all need to, like our hygiene, just like you emphasized, and of course, the fact that, this has happened, it could happen again. Yeah. Hence the reason why, we are actually talking about this, so that we all can understand that these are the implications of things that can happen, especially in the health sector, that can actually affect every other thing and how we live our lives. So, again, I just want to use this opportunity to say kudos to the Commissioner for Health in Lagos State. He was one of the front liners of the health sector, and of course, Babajide Sanwo-Olu too, leading, and other states actually emulated him. So I say kudos to them, and of course to Boss Mustafa as well. History will always remind us of how we've impacted our lives, and I think that's where I want to end this segment today. Let's quickly get the message from our sponsors. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. Exactly on Sunday, Senator Ademola Adeleke took the oath of office and assumed power as the sixth democratic elected governor of Osun State. And in first official act as a governor, Adeleke, a member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP to be precise, announced changes on the broad range of policies and issues. And of course, he abolished the state of Osun, the appellation of which was propagated by one of his predecessors, Rafiu Aregbesola, frozen all state accounts, reversed all appointments made by the predecessors, Adegboyega Oyetola, from July 17, when he was declared governor-elect, and promised to correct past injustice, corruption, corrupt acts, and of course bad policies of the immediate past administration. And on the show today, it's unfortunate our guests could not, make it maybe 15 minutes before we came on air. But we have, guys, the show continues when it comes to the health sector, when it comes to media. Yes, we just have to keep going. And we have our own brother, our own in-house national head of news in Silverbird Television. And should I also have that he's also one of the newest members of the Nigerian And of course, I want to say many thanks to Esho Momo Imodu for doing this with me.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is like the second or third time you're joining us on the second platform, all right. Second time joining us on this stuff, and I'm saying that I'm really grateful for creating time to be here to save us from some of our guests that actually want to bail on us.
It's a common terrain in this media world. Sometimes your guests just don't understand the implication of not honoring the last-minute invites for a live show.
But like what I said, I feel that maybe we should start from there. I feel that people who have been in our who are in our field, understand how you being cancelling on somebody at the last minute can actually disrupt the flow of the program and all of that. So again, when you also see that it has become a pattern from one of your own colleagues, I'm wondering, this is what I'm saying when it comes to what they're going to be remembered for, the legacy we want to be in terms of professionalism. I feel that is one of the things that we lack in this country when it comes to acting of professionalism. What do you have to say to that about our own media industry and those who are appointed from our own media industry when they get to the corridor of power?
I think it's a bad development. It's a bad narrative about our colleagues that find themselves in political appointment, not paying particular attention to live shows. But you see, we must also sometimes differentiate those who had experience in the print and those who had experience in the broadcast. Probably they don't even understand what it means to be on a live show, because probably over the years he has never been on such live shows. I won't go out, for instance, being on a live show. I understand what it means last minute, and I didn't give concrete reasons. Sometimes also you might excuse for them, probably their bosses will not even consider anything. And once your boss at the top says, come over, what are you going to say? But I will also expect that you just put a call. So I'm very sorry because of these. This so that this happened. But you see, this is what it is in the media industry.
Yeah,
sometimes they just quickly the man at home don't know the challenge you were going through when
I know it's unfortunate. Let's just dive straight to the topic at hand, because like I said in my intro, we can't separate politics from governance, if you ask me, especially when it comes to the limit of the people who put you there in that state. However, how would you address the current issue that is going on in Osun State at the moment, knowing that the present governor came into power and he just went into sacking of 1,200 state employees and the dethronement of 3 monarchs and the like. So I'm happy that I have someone like you. Sometimes things happen for a reason, for you to actually have in-depth of analysis or insights where you can actually be free and keep it real, because sometimes I feel that people who are in the corridor of power tend to measure their words and cannot actually give concrete response to certain things. So with you, with all that is happening thus far, what is your own rationale? How would you describe what is playing out at the moment with the people of Osun with their new governor?
Yeah, I think for me, I will start this way, that what I had expected that Governor Adeleke would do is to hit the ground with a roadmap, because there's a common knowledge that Osun is one of the most challenged states, talking about economy. I was expecting that you hit the ground with a roadmap, that this is how I want to help regenerate the economy of Osun State. Because in terms of revenue? Yes, because Osun needs serious IGR, internet generated revenue, to bail itself out of what they put themselves in. So you should have been able to tell people from day one that this is what I want to do. And some person showed me a video where he was dancing, and we kind of said, why? And I said, what is bad about it? That entertainment is the industry of some other people. Some people make livelihood from entertainment industry. So if the guy went out playing ball, will you have clapped for him? That's somebody else's industry. So if he is dancing, it's entertainment. I would expect that he will come out with a roadmap and say, okay, in the next stop, this is how I'm going to expand entertainment industry and tourism. And this is how I'm going to put in place policies that will generate the revenue of Osun State. Now, he has not done that. He has decided to look at this other aspect. That is typical of Nigerian politicians. We play politics with everything. They see the most important thing the people of Osun need now is governance. Whoever voted for you or voted against you is not important. Now you are the governor of Osun State. The guys you sacked are also from Osun State. And you don't look at it from the backdrop of you sacked some people. It is families that are affected, and you're going to be their governor. So I think he should sit back, probably should have set up a committee to look into some of the things. Because for goodness sake, you will realize that after some months, some of the sack, he will unsack them. Because you don't rush into them. When you get into governance, you see the reality on ground. Yeah, the man who left also wanted to protect himself and put something. Sometimes it's landmines. They put those things in place as landmines for you coming in. But you must be able to understand which are the landmines, which ones can I step on and get to my destination. Because you need the trust of the people, whether it is APC or PDP. Forget it was politics before you came in. From Sunday, it is no longer politics. You are no longer an APC governor. You are the governor of Osun State.
Regardless of party.
Regardless of party. Before you realize it, even the House of Assembly that are against him will turn. You see people decamping. That is Nigerian politics.
Absolutely.
Once the governor is carrying a ticket of a particular party, you see the lawmakers follow suit. It's not. I'm not a prophet, but it's going to happen in Nigeria.
It has happened even before.
So you will see them crossing the carpet to declare for him. But I think he should slow down. You need to reassure Osun people that it is no longer business as usual. The economy can be improved. You can make Osun State the treasure base of the Southwest in terms of tourism and entertainment.
If he so loved entertainment. But I would also like to ask, in sacking of these 12,000 workers and 3 monarchs, was it even appropriate in the first place by Governor Oyetola having to employ them? I felt like it was an emergency employment. Was it appropriate in the first place before this turning and going back and forth, this quagmire?
Yeah, legally speaking, it was okay, because until the Saturday night before the inauguration, Oyetola was still the governor, and every act is backed by law. He had the power to employ. So he did that as a governor. But morally speaking, was he right to have done that at the twilight of his administration? It's a different thing. So you can't fault him legally, because he was still the governor. Assuming Oyetola, because he said, I'm leaving 5 days or 2 weeks to the end of his tenure, he refused to act as governor. The state will crumble before the new man will come in. Okay. So if you will hold him responsible for keeping the state till the eve of his leaving, you should also give him the credit. He has the powers. You can't fault him in any court why he appointed. So some of those things is just you're appealing to morals. But you see, morals and law are two different things.
Okay.
All right. You've shared a lot, even from your post submission, when it comes to continuity, when it comes to different parties, when it comes to even sometimes them, hopping from one party to the other. But, let's still stick to this revenue, because I understand that revenue is very key when it comes to you even governing the state. With all that is happening at the moment, knowing that the previous Governor Boyega, Oyetola's government said that he had successfully paid out, I think, about some amount of 97 billion, so to speak, from the previous administration in terms of debt that he inherited from 2018. And I'm happy that at least, which is something that I feel that when it comes to transparency and accountability, was able to put out there in terms of the debt that he inherited. He inherited when he assumed office, to be precise, But with all that is going on at the moment, with all the shenanigans, for lack of a better word, right now, the current government is reinstated when it comes to leaving about 4.16 trillion naira, for debt for the next administration. And I'm asking, how would he right now, with all that is happening, knowing that what he's concentrating on can be a dysfunctional to his own service that he has been called upon to do? How can you advise him, for those who are listening to us right now, in terms of rating the performance of the previous governor, and in that is coming in, inheriting the debt of Osun State, and how he can move forward? You've said a lot also when it comes to entertainment, but with entertainment in our industry, it seems as if it's an individual growth. Most governments, or most or federal governments, so to speak, don't let me actually concentrate on the state government. This is like a second question I'm asking you. How can you advise them on how they can actually channel efforts in looking for how we can tap into that entertainment industry, knowing that he's also one governor at the moment who likes entertainment? What's your insight to this, or what's your advice for the people of Osun?
Yeah. If Osun was okay, I guess Osun people will not vote out the former governor. The fact that they voted out the former governor simply suggests that they wanted to change, because he was entitled to 2 terms. So you coming in simply gives you one message, that the people want a new lease of life. Now, what is this new lease of life you want to give them? You first must look at it from the economy, because there is no state that can survive without a good economy. And we knew that there was a time that Osun State was actually in the red, talking about revenue. That the revenue allocation from the center was not even coming to Osun. They were in the red. And so... And salaries were not paid. Now, this man came and said he's been able to pay. But what probably were not too clear was Have you cleared those outstanding debt? Which means those debts probably are there, but you didn't borrow more. It's a different thing. I didn't borrow more to remove the fact that it does not eliminate the fact that the outstanding are still there. So which means you still have huge liability on your head as a new governor, and you must fix it because you have inherited both the assets and liabilities. So it is no longer Oyetola's debt or Aregbesol's debt. No, it is a debt of Osun State, and you are the governor. So what you should do now is to look for some eggheads and look at, say, how do we begin to grow our IGR? If you look at the IGR in Nigeria, for instance, outside oil, the entertainment industry is a huge revenue generating industry. Then you can now look at it and say, now, how can we make Osun attractive?
Knowing that one of your nephew is also in that sector that you can actually use to actually drive
exactly. So you now need to now expand and say, now, what are we going to put? The first thing is Osun must be investors friendly. So the rate at which investors come into Osun State and get their businesses registered and all that, what is having able to fix the ease of doing business? You must work on that. When you have the ease of doing business fixed in Osun State, more investors will want to come. Probably they want to leave Lagos, probably because Lagos is congested. They want to go over to Osun State. So you must be able to fix that and see, make it attractive for them to come in and see what they can bring in. So I think now you should have like what you call maybe a seminar to bring in the eggheads and say, now we have a challenge. How do we fix it? Because at the end of the day, after 100 days in office, we're still going to measure you. So it is not the appointment, the sack that is the issue now. It is your first 100 days. What are the concrete policies you've put in place? Let's see them. Let's see how you walk towards them, because you have a golden opportunity to write your name in gold as a man who came to fix Osun State.
I'm sorry I have to interrupt you. Apologies, Damilola. With all that you've shared thus far, it is totally obvious, even to the layman on the streets, that there's a big dilemma at hand when it comes to the big tax for Adeleke's government, to be precise, in Osun State. But, you know, talking about all that you've shared thus far in terms of co-functioning with the majority of the APC lawmakers, looking for how, in terms of ease of doing business as well, especially in the entertainment industry, which seems that he has strength in when it comes to him being the dancing senator, so to speak. You know, I would like you to, you know, emphasize more on the fact that, you know, how does he want to interact? How does he want to actually in terms of collaboration with the lawmakers right now, and how to drive the state out of debt, and also passing bills as well to them, because there are quite a number of things that have been put out there when it came to even his inaugural speech, which I really don't want to concentrate on right now, because I just feel that I don't know what the law states at the moment. But how do you think that Adeleke right now can manage the lawmakers to be able to achieve his aim?
For me, I feel that the governor should not look at himself that I'm fighting a battle.
Exactly.
The first thing you should get to town with is you have the backing of the people. And it's the most important thing. The people voted for you. You didn't smuggle yourself in as a governor. Now, the lawmakers are also there to protect the interests of the state. I'm not sure they're doing it because of APC. So at the end of the day, if you put your roadmap on the floor, if you put it to the people clearly, and people buy into it, there's no lawmaker that will work against the people. The people will rise up to defend you. But you see, but when you behave as if and fight, it is they and we. No, you don't need they and we in Osun.
It's us.
Look, those lawmakers, like we said earlier, will fall in very soon. Absolutely. You know the way these governors do it. You know how they will swing things, and the next moment lawmakers will visit him and they will declare for him. So it's so obvious. That I think is the least thing that should be his headache. Yours is think of the kind of policy you want to put in place. I bet you those lawmakers will be singing your praises, because you've done the needful, you've blocked all the loopholes. But you see, you need the cooperation of the people. The solid mineral sector is strong in Osun State, for instance. It's a huge industry.
Absolutely.
Bring in eggheads. Call it an economic summit. In your first 1 month, set up an economic policies because you want to achieve in your first 100 days. I want to have something tangible. Once they bring it in, you look at all the proposals dropped by the eggheads, whether in entertainment, solid mineral, and all that. And Osun can now become the pride of the Southwest. If Lagos is priding itself with this, Osun can also take the lead and begin to say, in entertainment world, we have taken the lead. In solid mineral, we have taken the lead. And others will start copying from you.
All right.
You have the opportunity.
Many thanks for that. We'll go on a quick break to get a message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, glad to know you're still with us. In case you just joined the show, today's conversation is around, policy and governance and happening in Osun State at the moment. And of course, the most recent scenario in discourse is that of Governor Ademola Adeleke of the PDP assuming power into office with a vast majority of APC lawmakers. Yes, let me emphasize on that. And of course, Governor Adeleke has been reported to have sacked about 1,200 workers.
12,000.
Or 12,000 rather, I stand to be corrected. 12,000 workers while freezing state accounts with 3 traditional monarchs dethroned as well. And I want to say many thanks to one of our own. He is the national head of news in Silverbird. That is Eshomomo Imodu. Yes.
Some people prefer to say Esh.
Esh.
That was what they said, but I needed to emphasize on that. All right. And to those who are watching us right now, if you want to be part of this conversation, remember that the studio number is showing on your screen right now, 08098877400. And of course, you can be part of this conversation, or we are streaming live on Silverbird platform, and of course on Real Talk with Kike on Facebook, and of course on YouTube page. With all that you've shared us, I want to say many thanks for your insight, and I like the fact that you've been able to give different submission from a layman's perspective and from someone who understood politics and policies of the lawmaker, and of course when it comes to togetherness of working together, and of course ease of doing business, which I don't think that there's anything called ease of doing business in Nigeria, because investors are not coming in. That I can tell you for sure. The investors who are coming in, we know what it means about either government being on the table of sharing formula and the likes and all that. Yes, I'm saying that we keep it real on this platform, but staying put on the topic at that, because I don't want my phone to be burning after this show, is the fact that I feel that party policies sometimes, they distract us with all sorts, and I feel that the new government needs to focus on what is going to deliver instead of all the negative, which I feel that is a dysfunctional to his own deliverable, so to speak. So with all that you have shared thus far, are we saying that Governor Oyetola do not have merits that we can actually point at, or try to even say that, okay, that is what he should even start from? Because I feel that every government, every individual have their strength when it comes to what they have done. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it definitely has his own strength. But what we're just saying is all the actions, the key actions that he's taken so far, how has it added to the revenue profile of the states? If there is one state that is greatly challenged economic-wise, it's Osun. I also worked with a government then, 2015 to 2019, and I knew when they release all the data, states that are doing well, Osun is always on the red. And so if you sack 12,000, for instance, how did you arrive at the 12,000 you sacked? It's a critical question you want to ask. Who gave you the lists? Was it while you were out of government they gave you the lists? And who submitted the list? Who did the investigation? That's why I say it is not a one-man show. Yeah, it is not a one-man show. We're talking about governance of a state. So it's something you sit down, even you set up your own committee, even your own like minds come into the committee. But let people see transparency and equity. Because justice should not only be done, justice must be seen to have been done. That's a lot of equity.
Even when it comes to the 3 monarchs that he dethroned, I feel that the government do not have power when it comes to, the kingsmen, so to speak, because it is actually the community that appoints these people. How did he arrive at that? Has he been looking for how to gaslight the?
But I think that the government has always been involved in recent times in traditional dealings.
Yes,
there's always a government undertone. Yes, if this party does not like this set of people, and these issues usually happen. I don't think it's the first time.
But and you see, you must look beyond just those 3 individuals. Do they have the support of their community? Now,
Exactly.
do you want to
My
plunge
point.
the communities into another crisis?
Exactly.
If the people are accepted by the community, you might end up having crisis in the community.
Because,
And
I'm
you
sorry,
don't want to spend...
The reason why I'm actually raising this is the fact that there's something that is ongoing at the moment when it comes to your state. You know, Governor Makinde has refused to actually appoint, or will I say not necessarily appoint, but to further reinstate the king's person that the community have actually chosen. And it is the fact that sometimes even the governor want to make sure that they have control over those king's men. And I feel that is where separation needs to come. I know that yes, it's interwoven when it comes to them generating people who are going to be bringing in votes for them, so to speak. Do you understand? But how can all of this stop? Because that is also part of the challenges at the moment. Imagine when your community have actually decided that they want you to come and rule
over them.
But the governor has not given you the final letter to say that, yes, you can go for that. How do you move?
Because constitutionally, your community don't have the final say. You must be given the staff of office. And it's only the governor that will give you the staff of office. And in the constitution again, the traditional ruler reports to the local government chairman.
Yes.
Now, a system where you have traditional rulers asking that they should be paid salaries. What is it saying? That somebody should control you. But why is it that traditional rulers cannot say, we don't need any salary from the government? Let's be with our respect. But you see, because of that salary also, the government will say, look, if I'm paying you, if I'm giving you this incentive, then I must make some regulations. That's why you will not see. Exactly. It's just that some local government chairman, out of respect, cannot control certain traditional rulers. The Sultan reports to the local government chairman. The Oni reports to the local government by the constitution. That was when they wanted to remove the former Sultan, Bachido, Dasuki. They said they initially said restricted to the local government to report to the local government before he moves around. So that is how we find ourselves. But you see, if we're talking about the constitutional amendments, I think it's one thing for us to begin to advocate that we want the respect of our traditional rulers to be restored, remove them from the pay slips of the governments. Because if I pay you, I will control you.
Yes.
But removing them from the pay slip of the government, then how do you think these traditional rulers can generate
how were they generating before now? It's just because of this abuse system we have. For instance, you have 3 tiers of governments: federal, state and local government. Why have we reduced the local government to appendages of the state governments? By constitution, there are 3 tiers. They should be independent. Now, the state governments are asking that the federal government should devolve powers to them. Meanwhile, the states have refused to give powers to the local government. So why don't you have a system of government where the local government don't need any joint account? Amend that constitution. What is a joint account? Why don't you have a joint account, federal and state, and let the federal also control what goes to the states? Why must you say what comes to the local government? There should be a joint account. The state is independent. The local government should be independent because that is the constitution, 3 tiers of government. But the way we practice in Nigeria is a quasi-federal system where you have 3 tiers of government in the paper, but by certain laws, it is 2 tiers. You just have federal and state. So the state, the local government will not make laws to bring a local government chairman. Why don't you have INEC during the election for the local government? Because you don't have another. INEC does election for the president and the National Assembly. Also does election for the governors and House of Assembly. Why don't you have INEC to do election for the local government and councillors? Why must you have another body that is abused? That goes to why Adeleke sacked and suspended the OCEC chairman. Because they are partisan. In all the states, not just in Osun, in all the 36 states of Nigeria, the State Independent Electoral Commission are partisan. That is why the current election, it is the party of the governor that will win all the seats. They are all partisan.
Wow. Okay, looking at the rousing welcome that His Excellency got to in office, I know that I saw a couple of videos that people were really applauding and saying that it's the first of its kind in Osun State, and people were jubilating, seeming happy. Do we think that the Adeleke family, let's say the Adeleke family, because I also saw videos of when he emerged as the governor-elect of his brother, Davido's father, in question, telling him that if you come back with a bad sheet, that we are going to hands off from you. Do you think that the Osun State is looking at like the appellation in Molede? Do you think they are really seeing that light with Senator Ademola Adeleke?
I covered that election. I was there when they had their primaries, APC, PDP. I was there during the election. I was there the day when the INEC declared. I was in the at their residence, because most of the journalists moved to the residence after the collation. Just before they did the final declaration, we moved from the INEC office in Oshogbo, moved to the house where the man who already was taking the lead, because you know it is Beavers, you already know who was taking the lead. And you could see from what we gathered from the field, it was an expression of the people. They wanted a change. They got the change. And that is why you had that excitement. But you see, the nature of Nigerians is our excitement is usually short-lived. If after a few weeks, they don't see corresponding changes, the same people shouting will come after you. Remember, Hosanna to Jesus on his way. The next moment, they say, crucify him. The same people who shouted Hosanna will come for crucifixion. So
they will bring even the cross and the nails.
Exactly. So you must wake up on time and say, look, the party is over. It's time for business. And get back to business. That's why we say you must look for how to refix this economy.
Okay, refix the economy. You've spoken about the expression of the people. You know, I'm happy that we're on the ground when it came to this covering the event of the gubernatorial election and all of that. And I remember that twice also I was also in Osun State to cover some of the events, and I worked back there with some media houses and all of that. Governor Adeleke, Ademola was not present at the gubernatorial debate at all. He was not there prior to this election. However, I feel that it has become a culture. When I'm talking about culture, I'm talking about even our present candidates from the federal government who are actually running for vying for a seat at the presidential election come February 2023. I feel that has become a culture with our people, or will I say with our leaders, that sometimes they do not want to account to the people who are going to put them in the corridor of power. So with what that has happened right now, being the governor, do you think that it's just a matter of trust or the matter of change, like you said, that the people were actually craving for, to say that this is their own immole, so to speak, for lack of a better word? Or will I say that it's the fact that they feel that the legacy of PDP in other states, that ends the reason why they're actually voting for this Governor Adeleke to come and govern them? What's your take on this?
What happened in Osun will be a signal to what should be the future of our politics in Nigeria. Okay. In the sense that it's not as if you will say Osun people don't like Arebeshola. No, I think they still like him. Okay. It's not as if they don't like Governor Yutola. No, I think they still like him. But you see, it gets to a point in the life of a people when they draw a line between partisan politics and governance. Now, Party A have disappointed them, so they said. So they wanted to test another party. And until we get to that as a people, that we are no longer too partisan. What we have in Nigeria is that we are too partisan.
Even without hearing from the horse's mouth when it comes to coming with their blueprint to say that this is exactly what I want to do.
We make excuses for them. That's what I'm saying. We make excuses for the leaders. You defend it. Remember in those days, said, even if it comes with a NEPA certificate, we'll vote for him. It's because of our nature, because we believe in a party or in somebody, we don't want to listen to anything. And that is the reason why we keep going through leadership like that. Until we come to a realization that, yes, I might like you. But when it comes to governance, it's a different thing. For instance, in the US, you have this midterm election they do. Once you are in government, the midterm election, they test you. They can swing to another party. Over the time, the parties have come to realize that if I don't do well, judgment day in the midterm election is coming. Yes. So they sit up before the midterm. Once you enter, the next 2 years, judgment day is coming. You sit up before 2 years. But in Nigeria, no. We reward people because we just like them, not because they govern.
Not because they deserve
it. And that is why we must have a rethink as a people. That if we must fix Nigeria, allow the politicians to play politics. We, the people, must not play politics with our future. Let's sit back and say, what do we want? Ask critical questions. If a party has an opportunity to govern and you mishandle the opportunity, swing to the other side.
At least.
Before you go around, you get to understand that parties later on will realize that There's a judgment day coming. And when they have opportunity, they will misuse it again. You see, that is one of the ways you fix a country.
Quite insightful. But I also think that, do you think genuinely that Nigerians are really ready to throw away the stomach infrastructure for good governance?
Even in the US, are they throwing it away?
Exactly.
They have social security.
Yes, sir.
Do you think if this government didn't give them social security, they will keep him there? You see, because we call our own stomach infrastructure, we give it a bad name because we want to hang the dog. No. It is also social services. They have social security for the people. What is the social security for Nigerians? Nothing. So why would Nigerians ask for stomach infrastructure if that is the name we call it? But the most important thing is a man that is hungry cannot be governed. So it's the responsibility of government to make sure that he's no longer hungry. And that is why they keep us hungry, because they know we'll keep depending on them.
Hunger has been weaponized.
So,
and looking at how many stash of cash has been coming out since the CBN did, I mean, it's gory.
All right. Many thanks for all your submission thus far. And I must say that, can I officially say that you are now a member of this platform, because we need more of your insight, you know, knowing that you're not going to hold back and you keep it real, and which is one of the things that we love on this platform. But again, I say many thanks, for taking to our call, and I pray that, you know, this will just be the beginning of you joining politics, because we actually need, you know, people who actually understand the law and also understand what the people need, and also understand how to carry the people together. And I feel that that is what most of our leaders lack today when it comes to transparency and accountability to govern the people, aside the fact that yes, we have economic, financial challenges at the moment that we all need to actually come out of with a visionary leader. But I pray that this will be a beginning of more appointment for you. Yes, I'm saying it on this time for those who are watching right now. We need it. We need it. It's just like the woman who actually stood, what's it called, with the lawmakers and was calling them out. That's the kind of vocal voices that we need today. And they say again, many thanks. So I think that we're moving to the last segment of the show that we call Trending Stories. These are stories that bind us together as family. And the first trending story that caught our attention is that of the Lagos APC rally. That's Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that revealed what Nigerians should do to PDP, that is Atiku, in 2023. Before I come to you, or maybe I should come to you first. What's your take as a politician, analyst, political analyst, broadcaster, a fellow in the editors group, you know,
attacking each other, you mean?
Yes, attacking each other. And he made this statement at the rally at Teslim Balogun Stadium a few days ago. What's your take on this?
Just allow politicians play politics. There's a video of Dino Melaye and Fani Kayode.
In fact, he said all sorts of unprintable words on this platform.
Yeah.
Don't take them seriously. There's a video of Ashwaju with Atiku at the airport laughing. Why will you kill yourself because of these people? Let them play their politics.
Why you play
Let's face our life and our relationship and bond with ourselves.
I think just like I told some people, I said after February, March comes April, May, June, July to December, and another 4 years, and we are still going to be together. But I think by and large, over the years and in the coming years, it is good for us to understand why we are doing some things. In the sense that a man who wants to run for presidency knows why he wants to run. So attacking another man who has an ambition, I don't think is a good way. It's
a tactic.
From time immemorial, it's been like that. They're looking for who is popular, who the press is going to invade on their speeches, who we are going to change their tones and all of that. But I think that just face what you want to do for the people. Politics
remember those wrestlings. The guy will look at your weak point and keep hitting at your weak point.
Then you start dealing
with when you concentrate on that place, start hitting on that
the right, do not try this at all, because they know that it's all
it's all game.
But I just think that by and large, we should learn to concentrate and focus on the issue at hand and not attacking each other. It doesn't go down well to other Nigerians who do not decipher or who cannot decipher between, oh, these people are friends internally, but when you are outside, they feel like they are throwing jabs at each other. We can do more for ourselves. Let's go straight to our blueprint and give Nigerians what they want.
I feel that my own takeaway of his speech for me is the fact that, you know, the highlight of the rally is that people pay attention to what is going to be said and what can create news, because we like sensational news, especially when it comes to the political scene right now, knowing that that's the front line of what is trending, so to speak. You know, I'm more concerned as a citizen on what they will offer, on how they will bring us out of the mess. I'm more concerned about what they will be bringing to the table when it gets to that office. So I think that the noise that they are making during rallies, or will I say the short exchange of opposition parties, you know, exchanging jabs and the likes and all of that, is not what Nigerians right now should pay attention to. I just feel that Tinubu said what he said, you know, in terms of, you know, progressive, how would I put it, that progressive government, of how Nigerians like to perceive things and all of that. They've not come out to come and tell us how we should look for, how we can forget all the ills that is happening in the educational sector. They've not spoken about the healthcare. They've not spoken about the unemployment with our youth today in the generation that we have. I think that anyone can say anything right now, especially with all the rallies that are holding in different states and the likes and all of that. And him coming to Lagos State, where he has used it as a blueprint or landmark to his achievements. What do you expect? We saw how, you know, people turned out in a marathon, turned out from a lot of lawmakers and the likes, and local government personnel and the likes and all of that. So I want to hear from him. I think that it's time for us to actually come together to say that let us actually analyze what these people are bringing to the table. We have a debt profile of about, I think, 46.1 billion naira. How does his government wants to bring the people out of this tribe of poverty, so to speak? And people are dying every day of hunger and insecurity. We are hearing all sorts of bandits there, insecurity with the train sector and the likes. Unemployment is rising on the daily. How do you want them to provide jobs for you and I? I think is what we should actually we should be looking out for. And I also feel that, are you also going to be building more on this industry of where youth, so to speak, are being used as a tool when it comes to the political rallies? Because sometimes when I watch the video, I'll not lie to you, I'm actually concerned for our youth. And I feel that these are all the things that we all need to come out to come and start asking questions. This is not the time for stomach infrastructure and the likes and all of that. I feel that we actually need to come out and say that, please, can you give us a step-to-step process on how you want to deliver us from all the challenges we're facing today? Can you give us a step-to-step? Can you actually come out to say that, okay, you know what, with your votes, I'll be able to do this. With your votes, can our votes actually also count? Because today our vote does not count. Perhaps, maybe it's the confidence of how people want to achieve their promises without them even giving us accountability, because you have seen how he has also come out to say that, you know what, I'm not going to go for any debate. And he says it confidently. And I'm asking myself, if they can say certain things at the moment before even putting them in the corridor of power in that office, how can you hold them accountable when they get there? And I think that those are the things that I feel that the youth today, or the citizens, even the elites, because I'm sorry, I have engaged some elites in the last few days, and I must say I'm highly disappointed. I'm disappointed because all they are saying, even I'm saying that if he's saying that Lagos is the landmark of his achievement, can you actually point out to me what exactly he did during those 8 years? Forget the fact that you have the eye to appoint the right person to govern the state. While governing the state, don't also forget that it's as good as they are still the one controlling the people in the corridor of power. So I just pray that the citizens right now will understand that come February 2023, we all need to stop the, I don't want to use the word that wants to come out of my mouth right now. Let me just hold my breath and say that please, the future of your children lies in your hands. And I think that the second trending story, if I have the time, I understand that we have 2 or 3 minutes, is the fact that NNPC now remits $0, so to speak, to CBN account. Quickly, let me come to you. What's your take on this when you saw it?
It's been a tradition. Okay. NNPC, I think it's been unbundled with now NNPC Limited, but we just know it's just a change of name. It's still the same old game. I think questions must be asked and questions must be answered. Who will do that? Maybe we'll need to wait a bit. All right. Many thanks for that. I think for me, knowing that, NNPC is one of my clients as well, and I understand all the nitty-gritty because of business or being an entrepreneur. But at first, one may mistakenly misinterpret his statement of the CBN governor to mean that NNPC is not remitting revenue to federal government sports. However, I feel that on a deeper understanding, if you actually listen to most of his claims when he was speaking, he was actually talking about the objective of the NNPC, though
talking about not generating $3.0 billion, monthly since 2014 to be precise, and it has fallen to nothing in his own administration. But I'm asking myself, the so-called CBN governor, if you knew all of this that has fallen in terms of revenue, how come redesigning the naira is what is important to us, and all of that? I just feel that sometimes our leaders lack scale of preference in order of importance when it comes to certain things that will actually move the country forward. So I just feel that there are many forces involved in his statement, because listening to him, it's obvious that every state government, every whatever, is trying to control what it should be saying, which is, I feel that, which is also one of the things that the citizens need to listen to. But still sticking to the topic, I think first for me is the fact that we need to understand that the international legal tender for certain debt and transactions in the United States dollars is also part of this scheme. Also, secondly, is the fact that I feel that Nigeria has no, reserves, with all that is happening right now. Third, with all that he was saying that I actually paid attention to, is the fact that I just feel that our revenue right now cannot even offset the debt, as well as the demand for dollars has made it even more difficult for us citizens and the likes and all of that. And fourthly is the fact that I feel that the actual reality of what is going on at the moment when it comes to us selling NMPC or rebranding, like you said in your submission now, is all about, for crude oil, is all about, it looks good on the paper, it looks good to the eye, but when it comes to certain things in terms of importing refined petroleum products, I think that we've actually left nothing but no amount to people to offset all this demand for foreign transactions, like aviation funds, when it comes to foreign education, when it comes to medical tourism, when it comes to importing as well. Like you also said in one of your submissions earlier, that there's no ease of doing business in this country. So listening to all of that, I'm asking again, the books of the NNPC needs to be audited periodically, based on the fact that we are craving for transparency, we are craving for accountability to Nigerians, and we actually need to start channeling our energy into other sectors and not paying attention to the oil sector to say that is the only revenue generation in the country. I feel there are many other things, just like you've emphasized on some of the points, some of the sector that can do well in Osun State at the moment. So it's just unfortunate. Again, I say many thanks for all that you have shared thus far. I'm so happy to have you on the board.
Blessed am I amongst women.
Yes. On this note, this is where we come to the end of the show. And I want to say that remain kind.